All right. Hello, everybody. It is Sarah Schlote, and I'm here with Steve Peters, and we're joining you to say that we are so excited about the upcoming masterclass starting on May 27th. This is our second round, and we're really thrilled at the number of folks from around the world who have registered so far. And we're very excited to be nerding out with you on some of our favorite topics related to horse brains, equine brains in general, human brains, and what we can do to support more science-informed, relationally and trauma-informed relationships with our equine friends.
Welcome, everyone. And you have some time still, you can sign up. We recreated this course because the first one was really quite successful and we got a lot of very positive feedback. We learned right along with our students. In fact, one of the modules actually is you're taking and presenting a case based on the material that you've learned in the course. So once again, we'll be looking at neuroanatomy, give you a good foundation, the neurofunctioning, how does this all work? And then we'll get to important things like window of tolerance and attachment, and how you're borrowing actually and co-regulating your nervous system with other beings, and interspecies. So we're talking about horses and humans, trauma, and it's evidence-based. So this big package we're going to be delivering again on the 27th, and we're really looking forward to having you join us.
This is a 7-module program, so it's running from May 2023 till January 2024, and we'll share with you a little bit more about some of the fun stuff we're going to be covering together. So in May, we're going to be looking at sort of the foundation of what we are going to be covering together in terms of brain anatomy, comparative neuroanatomy between equine and human brains, understanding a little bit more about neurotransmitters, and having a brain map and model, or a number of brain maps and models for understanding the central nervous system. In June, we'll be looking at understanding how the nervous system explores and makes sense of threat detection and safety detection, and how different bodies and different nervous systems experience the world. And also looking a little bit about the threat response cycle, or otherwise known as the activation cycle, in equines and humans, and understanding physiological states and the importance of titration and thresholds when we're understanding the nervous system. In August, we will be looking a little bit more at the research on adversity in humans and equines, in terms of the adverse childhood experiences research and what I've come to call the adverse experiences scale for equines, and looking at how those things intersect and how trauma and adversity impact all sorts of beings. We'll be looking also at epigenetics and gene expression, and understanding basically different management strategies or ways of coping with adversity and other conditions, and how do we support different conditions to have different outcomes. In September, we'll be getting a little bit more into co-regulation and attachment, and understanding attachment theory from an equine perspective, looking at the research, what the research is saying so far, what the research is not saying, and what has not been studied yet, and I think future directions for that, and how to understand how our own attachment patterning can impact the horse training methods or the horse philosophies that we may have or choose or are drawn towards, and how do we work on recognizing the impact of perhaps our early childhoods and our upbringing on how we relate to horses in training or in various behavior consultation sort of contexts. We'll look in November at the window of tolerance and self-regulation, and looking a little bit more at the idea of understanding sequences in what we're seeing in terms of behavior and sensations and emotions, and so on, that show up. In Module 6, we'll be looking at how does this all come together? So how does this affect horse training? How does this affect equine behaviorism or equine learning theory? How does this affect the humane hierarchy? How does this affect other areas, horseback riding, et cetera? different equestrian disciplines, the idea of equestrian trauma specifically, and different resources and supports that could be helpful in terms of your own healing journeys. And then, as Steve was saying, we have our Module 7 coming up in January, which is case applications. So looking at different examples brought to you by our student audience, either questions or video or photographs or things, and sort of looking at that as a group collectively and making sense of that from the standpoint of the material that we've been learning together. So we're really thrilled. Yeah, go ahead, Steve.
So one of the things two issues that drove us to creating this course, one was at the time we first started, so many people came to us and said, where do we get good information? And now social media has become such a bed of pseudoscience that it's very, very hard to get good, accurate information and know that you've got that. So we thought if we brought two credentialed professionals together who have an evidence-based scientific background, that we could offer that to you. And the second thing we wanted to do is we both have experience working with humans and with horses, and that's 50% of the equation on each side. So when you interact with your horse, it's not just horse training, you're bringing your nervous system into the interaction with the horse's nervous system. So we wanted to give you a complete knowledge of that whole interactive package. And I think that's what we've been able to do. And we're really excited to offer that to you.
So you have until May 23rd, 2023 to register for this program. We start May 27th. It'll be about 3.5 hours roughly each time that we get together. The recordings will be available for 3 months after each date that we meet. So you'll have the access to the material for a good chunk of time. So please, if you have not signed up yet, there are still spots available. You have, again, until May 23rd to register. And just because it's called a masterclass does not mean that there are prerequisites. We teach this to a general audience. So it is not intended to be for high career professionals. This is open to everybody. So if you are someone who loves animals, loves horses, and want to learn a little bit more about how to apply this in your own life and not necessarily in a professional context, please do join us. There are no prerequisites to come. We're trying to take a lot of really interesting and sometimes complex information and make it more accessible to the masses. So we're very excited, and we look forward to seeing you all on May 27th. Please check out the link below. We'll have that available for you down at the in the comment section, and we'll see you shortly.
We'll see you in class.